Minasan konnichiwa! Hi everyone! I'm spending the next 5 days in Japan exploring Kanagawa and the Tokyo prefectures. We'll be trying Japanese food, making Japanese traditional art, and learning lots of culture and history along the way. We'll also be visiting some of the 2020 Tokyo Olympics legacy sites, and I can't wait to show you everything that we do. All right, let's go! I began my 19-hour journey to Japan in Miami with a quick layover in Detroit. I rarely, if ever, fly Delta, so I had never laid over in Detroit before, and I was so pleasantly surprised. So I looked it up, and apparently it's one of the best airports in the US. Who would have known? Or maybe if everyone does, it's just me. Once I left Detroit, however, is when the real bulk of the trip began, so I thought I'd take a second to show you my tips for surviving a 13-hour flight in economy as someone who really cannot sleep on planes very easily. It has taken me years to perfect this, and I think I finally got it down. So what you see me setting up is a foot sling that hooks behind the seatback tray table. Don't ask me why this works, but it is so much more relaxing for a long flight to have your feet in one of these. I also religiously bring earplugs, an eye mask, and this wrap around neck pillow. With all of this equipment, I was able to sleep 5 hours, and for me, that is really good, like almost unheard of. Then as we landed at Tokyo Haneda Airport, we had the most beautiful dusk and sunset behind Mount Fuji. These are not views that you'll get flying into Narita, so if you want a good view of Mount Fuji, always fly into Haneda. Once I landed, going through customs and grabbing my bag was all super fast, and that's in part because I did fill out all of the entry forms online before coming, so I highly recommend doing that. I then took the KQ line train directly from the airport to Yokohama, which is where our Kanagawa trip would start. Again, this was super easy. I didn't have to leave the airport, and it took me right to the steps of my hotel, which was the Sotetsu Fresa Inn at Yokohama Station. The hotel had a little check-in machine, which I thought was really cool. Then over by the elevator were a ton of free toiletries and other amenities like toothbrush, razors, earplugs, even bathroom appliances you could borrow, and a box to donate old clothes. And then on my floor, they even had a whole shelf of pajamas you could borrow. I made it! I'm so happy to be in Japan, and it's also so weird because I'm like exhausted from traveling for 20 hours, and at the same time it's like the morning on the East Coast right now, so my brain thinks I should be awake even though it's pitch black outside. But I'm gonna take a quick shower and then try to find some dinner before the big day tomorrow. After showering, I felt so much better and set out to find dinner at a sushi place that I saw was nearby. And just like the automated check-in at the hotel, everything was automated about getting a table here too, from the wait list to getting a table number once your table was ready. And then I ordered everything on a screen, and then it was delivered to me via conveyor belt. I ordered all of this, and look at the final price. That's about $21, and I probably ate enough for at least 2 people. That was so good, and I'm so stuffed, but I was just so excited to be in such a cool sushi place. I wanted to try everything. But anyway, now I just need to go straight to bed, and we have a big day tomorrow, and I'm so excited to show you guys everything that we're about to do. After some much needed sleep, I was ready for my first full day of the trip. I grabbed some quick breakfast at the hotel before hopping in the van to go explore Yokohama. While I've been to Japan before, this was my first time in Yokohama, and I was so excited to see what it was like. Our first stop was to check out Yokohama Baseball Stadium, which, fun fact, is where Japan's first international baseball game was played in 1896. This stadium is also where Japan won the gold medal in both softball and baseball in the 2020 Olympics. Baseball is extremely popular in Japan, and this was their first ever gold medal in baseball, so it was a huge deal. Our next stop of the day was to the Yokohama Chinatown, which is one of the largest Chinatowns in all of Japan. This Chinatown dates back to 1859, when foreign merchants from China first began to do business here after the opening of the port of Yokohama. There was so much good food here. I wish I had like 3 stomachs so I could try everything, but I did my best, and I had panda buns, xiaolong bao, and one of the highlights, though, I have to say, was this pork bun place that not only had one of the largest pork buns I've ever seen in my life, but they are also one of the oldest operating in all of Chinatown. We then walked over to the Yokohama Kantebyo, which is a traditional Chinese temple, and it was absolutely beautiful. If you're in the area, I highly recommend visiting. And I hadn't realized that our next stop was going to be lunch, and I'd eaten so much in Chinatown that I really wasn't hungry at this point. But we went to a restaurant to try gyunabe, which is a traditional beef hot pot that originates in Yokohama. And while I was pretty full, I wasn't gonna let an opportunity to try some good Japanese food pass me by, and it was so delicious. But I'm glad I had some help so that even what I couldn't finish didn't go to waste. Next on the itinerary was taking a ferry to Monkey Island, but we were a little bit early, and with some time to kill, we decided to explore the Mikasa Memorial Warship that was right next to the ferry. This refurbished naval battleship was used in the Russo-Japanese War of 1904 to 1905. The interior was fully converted into this huge museum, and there was so much to see we really didn't have time for everything, but it was a fun way to spend some time while we waited for the ferry. We then hopped on our cute ferry with the name of Sea Friend Zero for a very short trip over to Sarushima Island, also known as Monkey Island, which despite the name has no monkeys on it. So you may be wondering, why is it called Monkey Island? Well, legend has it that in 1253 a Buddhist priest was caught in a storm while traveling by boat, and a monkey came to him and guided him to the island, which actually saved his life. The island is completely uninhabited, and this small building is what provides power to the entire island. While no one lives here now, it used to be used as a military fortress where these deep paths were carved into the island and buildings were built into the sides of the cliffs. It was really interesting to see and explore, but my favorite part was when we went up to this lookout area where you could see Mount Fuji and views of the harbor and picnic tables, so you could really hang out there if you wanted to enjoy the view. We then hopped back on the ferry to head back to dry land and explore Dobuita Street in Yokosuka. Dobuita Street is a unique shopping area that blends Japanese and American culture, which dates back to the post-World War II era when local merchants were catering to the US servicemen in the Navy base nearby. And fun fact, my dad was actually in the Navy and stationed in Yokosuka before I was born. It felt like I was getting a small peek at an era of my dad's life that I had never seen before. Dobuita Street is also the origin of one of the most iconic streetwear items from Japan, the sukajan, a blend of the American flight jacket and Japanese artistry. So if you want an original sukajan or souvenir jacket, definitely come to Dobuita. Then at the end of Dobuita Street was our hotel, the Mercure Hotel Yokosuka. I really liked the hotel, and I was surprised with how big the rooms were. This hotel room is so well stocked. You have little individual toothpaste, vanity kit, toothbrush, and then soap, liquid cleansing wash, moisture lotion, moisture milk. I've never seen a curling iron in a hotel room either. They've also got an espresso and an espresso machine, as well as glasses and even a little fridge with a couple of drinks in it. After a short break in our rooms, we then headed to dinner at a place called Kuriya. The food was absolutely delicious, and I got to try ginkgo berries for the first time, which they said a lot of people find too bitter, but I thought they were delicious. And a moment of appreciation for the sake because they were in the most beautiful containers. The next day, we started out with a breakfast in the rooftop of the hotel, which had an incredible view. They had a huge selection at the buffet, but something I really loved was how they had plates and utensils for kids. I thought it was so cute. After breakfast, we headed out to take the Uraga Ferry, which has been in operation for roughly 300 years. At the time, it used to cost 6 cups of rice to use the ferry, and sometimes families would pool rice together in order to use it. Today, it's only 400 yen, or about $2.50, and it has no timetable. You just press this button whenever you want it to come get you. After the quick 3-minute ferry, we walked through the neighborhood to the East Kano Shrine. I say east because this shrine is unique in that it actually has 2 sides, east and west, on either half of the Uraga port. The shrine had a little shop, so I bought a couple of umamori, which are Japanese good luck charms. Then when walking back to the ferry, I actually saw some of the ginkgo berries that I had eaten the night before out in the wild, which I just thought was so cool. Then on the way to our next experience, we stopped at Jogashima Island Park and took a short walk to see some beautiful views of the cliffside. Next, we headed over to Mitomi Dye Shop in Miura. This dye shop was founded in 1833 and dyed flags for the shogunate during the Edo period. We were taken around to the back of the shop where they host flag dyeing experiences so you can learn the craft for yourself. This was such a fun experience, and it only costs about $20, which I think is a great deal. Definitely check this out if you're going to Kanagawa. Our next stop was to Jorakuji Temple, built in 1189 by Yoshimori Wada. We were given a tour of the grounds, including this back area with 5 Buddhist statues that were created by Buddhist master and sculptor Unke. We weren't allowed to film in the area with these statues, but here's an idea of what they look like from the brochure. This temple also has the tomb of Maejima, the father of the postal service in Japan. We then made a quick stop for lunch of curry before heading to the Morito Daimyojin shrine. Within the shrine were different areas dedicated to the god of childbirth, the protector of pets and livestock, the god of marriage, and also a little fox shrine, which I was told foxes in Japanese culture are known as messengers to God. The shrine was also right on the water and had beautiful views behind it, including a torii gate out in the water and spectacular views at sunset of Mount Fuji. Speaking of spots known for great sunset views, our next stop was the Enoshima Yacht Harbor, which was first built as a sailing competition venue for the 1964 Tokyo Olympics and then was once again a venue for the 2020 Tokyo Olympics. You can get a sailing tour or stop at their little cafe, or like I mentioned earlier, go up to the rooftop for spectacular views of the harbor and sunset. We were here in November though, so the sun set a little bit too early, but it was still really pretty. After this last stop, we were finally headed to the Hotel Metropolitan of Kamakura. This was definitely one of my favorite hotels of the trip. I really love the architecture and incorporation of plants into the space, not to mention the rooms were also really nice. Again, such a well-stocked hotel room. Oh, this is so nice. Oh wow, what is this? Skincare set? I think this is also an eye cover. Block out light when you sleep. What are these? Oh, this is incredible. Okay. Wow, what a great day. I'm also so jet lagged still and I'm crashing. We were supposed to have dinner, but we had such a late lunch that we're not really hungry yet. So I don't know what I'm gonna do for dinner or if I'll even be hungry, but I might just go to a convenience store later. Despite how tired I was, Ariel, who was another creator on this trip with me, said that she was going to go check out Komachi Street, which was a shopping district near our hotel. And I'm so glad that I decided to join her anyway, because this was such a cool area, and I ended up picking up a few things for myself and for some friends back home. But I was too tired for a full dinner at a restaurant, so I did end up going to 7-Eleven. I picked up this vitamin C drink that I had all week that is supposed to help with energy and inflammation. I swear it was the only thing keeping me alive. I had also been dying to try the viral 7-Eleven egg salad sandwich and mandarin orange cream sandwiches, so I picked those up to try them back in my room. See if it lives up to all of the hype. This is really good. I didn't know what to expect from an egg salad sandwich. The bread is like a little bit sweet. It is so soft. And then I've had egg salad sandwiches before where the egg salad part itself is really dense. And this is like really, I don't know if fluffy is the right word, but it's very light. I get what all the hype's about. All right, and now time to try the mandarin orange and whipped cream sandwich. I've also seen this sandwich in so many videos. I've never had fruit in a sandwich before, but I feel like it has to be good. Like, why wouldn't this be good, you know? Oh, I love that. 100% worth the hype. I get why people love this so much. If you come to Japan, definitely try these. We started day 4 with a pottery making class at Takara Kiln, which is located at the back of Jorakuji Temple. This historic kiln was built in the early Showa period and was frequented by several cultural figures, including Japanese-French painter Leonard Suguharu Fujita. The pottery class was such a highlight of the trip, but my favorite part was when we were told to go outside to pick out leaves to print into the bowls. The process of not only making art but connecting with nature was just so special to me. It was also just so satisfying to pull these leaves out of the paint. Like, how cool is that? We then made our way to Kenchoji Temple, which is Japan's first Zen Buddhist dojo, founded in 1253. After exploring the grounds of the temple for a while, we walked towards the back where we participated in a Japanese calligraphy experience. It was both relaxing and challenging, and I really enjoyed it. The temple also has a restaurant on site where we tried kenshin soup, a Japanese traditional vegetable soup that actually originated from this temple. It started as a meal that was eaten by the monks. I loved the soup and I thought it just felt really light and healthy. Next, we headed towards the mountains to visit Tanzawa Climbing Park, which were used in the 2019 IFSC Climbing World Championships Hachioji tournament. This is also where several American climbers practiced ahead of the 2020 Tokyo Olympics. And no, while I wasn't really dressed to climb, I didn't want to give up the opportunity to try out the climbing wall for myself. We then stopped for a quick visit of the Miyagase Dam. This is a popular area for nature lovers as there are colorful azaleas in the spring and a great spot to see autumn leaves in the fall. There were also tons of activities for all ages like grass sledding, as well as this area to make crafts out of natural materials like pine cones and acorns. I thought the craft area was so adorable. Keeping with the theme of connecting to nature, we then checked out the Takao 599 Museum, which is a museum to display some of the natural wonders of Mount Takao, from the plants, flowers, and various animals that call this mountain home. It also displays the 3 ajitos and Olympic rings that used to be atop Mount Takao for the 2020 Olympics. Mount Takao is less than an hour from central Tokyo and has beginner-friendly hikes, so it's a great place to check out if you want to see some nature on your trip to Tokyo. After the museum, we headed back towards Tokyo City Center to our last hotel of the trip, the Royal Park Canvas Ginza Corridor. The room was a bit smaller than some of the other hotels we'd stayed at, but it was still nice with some cool features like under the bed lights and something else I'd never seen before. This hotel room has a projector in it. So they also give you instructions for how to mirror your phone onto the projector, and they give you cords to be able to hook up to, I guess, your computer. If not, how cool is that? I love Japan. After taking a few minutes in the room, we then headed down the Ginza corridor to our dinner at Kichiri, which is a modern Japanese restaurant that also has some Western fusion foods. There were so many different things on the menu, and there really is something for everyone here. The food was so good, I can't recommend it enough. For our 5th and final day of the trip, it was time to explore Tokyo. We started our day at the Tokyo Aquatics Center, which was built as a venue for swimming, diving, and artistic swimming for the Tokyo 2020 Games. While we didn't have time to swim ourselves, we did get to check out a small exhibit in honor of the Tokyo 2020 Olympics. They had the cute Tokyo 2020 mascots, a podium, Olympic torches, and then even a swimming simulation that would grade you based on your form. It was so fun. The Aquatic Center is open to the public, so if you're in Tokyo and want to go for a dip, definitely go check it out. Next, we headed over to the Ariake Urban Sports Park, which was built on the site of the former venue for skateboarding and 3-on-3 basketball in the Tokyo 2020 Olympics. The idea was to take something used for the Olympics and turn it into a place where everyone can play together, and I just love that. We then took the Uraga Ferry just one stop over to Toyosu Market, which replaced Tsukiji Market in 2018 and is the largest fish market in the world. If you want to see a live fish auction, you should arrive early between 5 and 5:30 a.m. But since we were there closer to lunchtime, we went across the street to explore the Edo-style buildings that accompany the market, where you can buy fresh seafood and souvenirs. We were pretty hungry, so our first stop was to get some sushi that they made right in front of us with fish fresh from the market. I got a seared salmon, a seared scallop, and a chirashi bowl. I cannot even begin to describe how delicious these were. You just have to go and try it for yourself. When we walked out of the restaurant, they had a ninja show going on, and this was just so much fun to see in the middle of the market. This place is so lively. We then went up into this high rise right in front of the market to check out a foot bath, which I had never been to before. It was completely free. All you had to do was buy a towel, and you got to see some of the most beautiful views of Tokyo. Not to mention the foot bath was so nice after walking so much this week, but even if you don't want to try the foot bath, you don't want to miss these views. We then headed back to Ginza to pick up our bags before heading towards the airport. But before picking up our bags at the hotel, we did make one last stop at the Ginza Granbell Square, which has a hotel, a spa and sauna, a rooftop restaurant with views overlooking the trains, and even a nightclub in the basement. I really wished I had more time to check this place out, but I'll definitely be back on my next trip. I then took my bags and headed to the airport for my late evening flight, but it ended up being delayed by about an hour and a half, so I went to Haneda Innovation City, which is only one stop from the airport. There were tons of fun shops and restaurants, and of course, we ended up finding another foot bath that had a view overlooking the airport. I am such a fan of these foot baths now. I wish we had them in the US. Once I finally made it to the airport and got my bags checked in, I decided to check out the airport areas pre-security because I heard they were really fun, and it did not disappoint. There were so many shops and restaurants and this huge observation deck. This may be one of my new favorite airports. I would definitely fly through here again. Overall, while this was such a whirlwind of a trip and we fit in so many things into only a few days, I had such an incredible time. I really love Japan and I can't wait until I can make it back. Let me know what you think in the comments below, which country I should come check out next.